Hello my dear students, last time in Inside the Atom we have already finished with the Rutherford's gold foil experiment, and we have come to know that Rutherford had tried to find out that inside the atom there is a nucleus which is positively charged and there are electrons which are revolving around it in the definite orbits. But if it is so, if they are revolving around the definite orbits, electrons are charged particles, and according to quantum physics, it says that if any body is charged, okay, then and when it is moving it will be accelerating, and when it accelerates it radiates some amount of energy in the form of electromagnetic radiation. So if it is the case like this, that it is giving out energy, releasing energy, then finally the electrons would lose energy, and once it loses energy it will be falling into the nucleus. So the same thing, it was, the model was not wrong, but only thing he could not explain how are these electrons inside the atom. So because electrons are the most important part of the atom, because of electrons so many things are happening, like for example the flow of electron constitutes the electricity. Due to the sharing of electrons, compounds are formed, so therefore electrons are very important part of an atom. Fine. So this drawback was solved by the Niels Bohr stable orbit atomic model. So Niels Bohr was a Danish scientist who gave a stable orbit atomic model. Okay. So according to him, he says that these electrons are not simply revolving around the nucleus. Okay, they are present in certain discrete circular, okay, or you can also call it as concentric circles. Fine. And these concentric circles or discrete circles which are there, they are placed at a particular distance from the nucleus as well as within each other. So in between these orbits also there is a certain distance. So you will not find electrons in between the two orbits. They will be always revolving in these orbits. So that is why they are called as discrete orbits. Okay, fine. So he called these orbits also as energy levels, or you can also call them as shells. He called them as energy levels. It's because Rutherford failed to explain about the energies of the electron. He said that they continuously will be radiating the energy, but actually when an electron is in a particular orbit or particular energy level, okay, orbit or energy level, or also it is called a shell, these electrons do not radiate energy. And that is why if it does not radiate energy, that means it will not fall off into the nucleus. So that was only been told by Niels Bohr atomic model, or stable orbit atomic model. Fine. And then, so therefore he put certain postulates. Okay, he made certain three postulates regarding the about the electrons, how they are revolving in the orbits. Okay, so according to the first postulate of Niels Bohr, he said that electrons revolve clearly defined concentric circular orbits which are at certain distances from the nucleus. Okay, so that means it has a certain distance, each of these orbit has a certain distance from the nucleus as well as in between these orbits. Fine. So from this we can also come to know that because they have a particular distance in between them as well as from the nucleus, even the atom will have a specific radius. Okay, each of these orbits has a specific radius. So that is what it is said in the first postulate, that it is a clearly defined concentric circular orbits which are at a certain distances from the nucleus. So this was the first postulate of Niels Bohr. Then what each of these circular shells or energy levels are also called as orbits. So they are also called as energy levels. So let me come to it later on. Why are they called as energy levels? Fine. Now the second postulate says that the energy of electrons remains constant while it is revolving in the orbit. That means whenever it is in a particular orbit, okay, it has that much energy only, or and the energy of each of these orbits electrons remains constant. It does not change when it is revolving in the orbit. So this was the second postulate. So energy of the electron remains constant while it is revolving in the orbit. And the third postulate and the most important postulate was, when an electron jumps from an inner orbit to the outer orbit, it absorbs energy. So I'll explain to you. Let me read first. When an electron jumps from an inner orbit to the outer orbit, it absorbs energy which is equal to the difference of its energy level when it jumps from an outer orbit to the inner orbit, and emits energy level energy equal to the energy differences of its energy. Now what does this? It's a big statement. So let me try to explain in parts. Now what it says, I said that the electron, Niels Bohr said that the electrons within a particular orbit, when it is revolving, it has a constant energy. Fine, so that means it does not radiate any energy or it does not radiate any energy when it is revolving. But if it has to jump from one orbit, that means from the lower orbit to a higher orbit, it has to absorb energy. Okay, it has to absorb energy. Why it has to absorb energy from lower orbit to higher orbit? It's because each of these orbits have their particular energy levels. Like for example, he called them these energy levels. The first one, which is closest to the nucleus, is called as K shell. And also its energy level N is equal to 1. So K shell or N is equal to 1. N means nothing but the number of the shell. So N is equal to 1 represents that it is the first shell which is close to the nucleus. It is also called as shell K. So they are numbered as N is equal to 1, N is equal to 2, N is equal to 3, N is equal to 4. Or and so on. Whereas in the letters we can call them as K shell, L shell, M shell, N shell, and so on. So the one which is closest to the nucleus is called as the K shell or number 1. Then N. When you go out it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. For K, L, M, N. So the names of these and numbers are also have told you now. Now the one which is closest to the nucleus has the least energy. It has the least energy, whereas the outermost shell or outermost orbit or energy level has the highest energy. So the one which is closest, the lowest energy which is closest to the nucleus is also called as the ground state. They are also called as energy state. Each of them are also called as energy state. So the first one is called as the energy state, and above are called as excited states. It means just above the ground state will be called as excited. So that means they have more energy as compared to the previous energy level, energy state. So electrons, when they are revolving, they do not emit energy. Okay, fine. When they emit energy, it's when the electron absorbs energy and it jumps from lower orbit to higher orbit, or lower energy level to higher energy level. It requires to absorb energy because the higher energy level is having more energy, and to make up for that difference, it has to gain energy. It has to absorb energy. Okay, so when it absorbs energy, it is also called as, it is moving from the lower energy state to higher energy state, and also called as excited state, okay, or also called as transition. So all these are not required for you to know. I am just explaining. It's because you have to know this last statement. For that I am explaining. So when it is jumping from the lower orbit to higher orbit, since the higher orbit has higher energy, the electron from the lower orbit needs to absorb energy, and that energy is in the form of electromagnetic radiation, also called as photons. This you are going to study in detail in the higher class. It is also called as energy packet, or also called as photon. It absorbs this photon of a particular energy, okay, and then goes to the higher level. Fine. And when it cannot remain in this excited, remember student, this electron cannot remain in the excited state. Excited means when it is jumping from the lower orbit to higher orbit, we also call it as excitation. So it cannot remain in that excited state. So that's why it come back to its initial state, by releasing the same amount of energy and coming back to the initial energy level or initial state. So that is also called as relaxation. So this is called as transition. Transition means jumping from the lower orbit to higher orbit by absorbing energy, and again jumping back from higher energy to lower energy. This is all called as transition. So electrons, when they are jumping from one orbit to another, that time they absorb or release energy, but when they are revolving, they never radiate energy. And this was only the drawback of the Rutherford, which was solved by Niels Bohr by telling about this third one. And how is the energy when it is jumping from one orbit to another? It's the difference. Now let me give you an example of an hydrogen atom, just an example. The hydrogen orbit, the first orbit, n is equal to 1, or K shell, has around energy of the electrons is around minus 13.6 electron volts, whereas the second shell has around minus 3.4 electron volt of energy. Suppose if it has to jump from the first shell to the second shell, then it will have to have that difference, and that difference is nothing but 10.2 electron volts. How is that 10.2 electron volts? Is you can just subtract minus 3.4 minus of minus 10.6 electron volt, then you get the answer 10.2 electron volts. That is the difference between the energy levels of the two shells. So it has to absorb that much energy to jump from first shell to the second shell. And if suppose it has to release energy, so it will release the same amount of energy, that is 10.2 electron volt of energy. Okay, and that 10 point, the photon, which is also called as the light of the photon of the light, it has a particular color. Okay, so this 10.2 electron volt of energy is related to the wavelength of ultraviolet light. So when it's jumping from first shell to the second shell in the hydrogen atom, it will be getting the color of ultraviolet. Okay, so this is just I wanted to explain to you about the third one. So we can have an example like this. You can see when it is jumping, it is absorbing the energy, okay, from the lower energy level to higher energy level, and same when it is jumping back to the lower energy level, it releases back that energy, okay, and it gets a particular color. When it is releasing the energy, it gives the particular color. So that we can see in this example here. Okay, now if you take sodium chloride, that is table salt, which we use mostly in the house for preparing food and all, so that table salt, also called as sodium chloride, if we just put it on the flame of the gas stove, okay, gas stove has heat energy, so it requires energy. Okay, so when this table salt is put on these on the LPG flame, you will find that it gives a yellow color. Okay, this is one example. Second example, we will see that when the same sodium chloride, when I said it has sodium, the same sodium metal is dropped inside the water, it burns, giving a yellow flame. Again, yellow flame. There also yellow sparks were coming on the gas stove because of the sodium chloride. Here also it is giving yellow color. Okay, the third case, that is, if you see the sodium vapor lamps, the street lamps and all, they are made up of mostly sodium vapor. It gives yellow light. Now from these what you can understand is that from all these examples show that an electron of sodium absorbs energy and jumps to the outermost shell. So first it absorbs the energy. In the first case it was the heat energy which it is absorbing. In the second case also, when sodium is dropped in the water, it releases heat energy. So this energy it gets from water. Third thing, it is the light energy, which is electric energy which it gets, and therefore it emits that yellow light. Now why it is happening? It's because all these examples show that an electron of sodium absorbs energy. It is absorbing a photon of yellow light. It is absorbing a photon of yellow light, okay, and then it jumps from the lower energy level to a high energy level by absorbing that photon of yellow light. And when it is jumping back, when it comes back to the inner shell, it emits that same energy difference, okay, or that photon, that particular yellow colored light photon. And therefore whenever the electron of the sodium absorbs this photon, it always will give the yellow color. So this is what is the explanation of, this was just one example. So you can find out on the net, there are so many examples which color is given by a particular photon and which will be absorbed, and it will be all these energy levels are constant for a particular atom. So these energy levels, energy values of each of these orbits for different atoms will be different, but for that particular atom it will be constant. Fine, so this you remember. Fine. So difference in the energy level of these two shells is always fixed, and it is equal to the energy of the yellow light when it is jumping back to the initial state, that is its lower energy. Fine. So this is regarding the sodium. Fine. Now so from you can see now that why that yellow color comes in the sodium. It's because of the jumping of the electron first, absorbing that particular photon of that yellow colored light and then going out, and then since it cannot remain in that excitation, it jumps back to that lower state, and when it is jumping back, that time it is emitting this yellow color of the light. So like that, after the Bohr's stable orbit atomic model, there were many models came. So you have now learnt so many models, that is Dalton's atomic model or Thomson's atomic model, Rutherford's atomic model, Bohr's atomic model, and there was also later on electron cloud model. So this electron cloud model is nothing but about the modern quantum or modern advent of the new branch of science called as quantum mechanics. So this quantum mechanics and all you are going to study in the higher classes. So this was regarding the Bohr's stable orbit atomic model. I hope so you have understood about this model. So in the next video we are going to learn about the atomic structure. Fine. So atomic structure, let me tell you in a nutshell now that atom consists of the nucleus, positively charged nucleus, as well as there are neutrons which were are neutral or does not have any charge, which was later on in the year 1932 James Chadwick was a scientist who discovered the neutrons. Okay, so they are also present along with the protons whose mass is similar to that of protons, and there are electrons which are revolving in the discrete concentric circles called as orbits or energy levels. These electrons are revolving. So this is how is the structure of the atom, which we are going to study in the detail in the next video. So till then student, bye and thank you.